Okay, here's our precious metals update. It is September 21st, Wednesday night. This was our big night, or our big day, really. The Fed announcement. They announced the rate hike. Everybody was expecting the 75 bips. That's what we got, the 75 basis points. And, I mean, they were generally hawkish. You know, they gave the impression that there were going to be a lot more rate hikes. So if you wanted to try to play the guessing game of what the Fed's going to do, when is the Fed going to pivot, that seems to be what everybody on crypto, on FinTwit wants to do. Good luck with that, right? So we'll start with gold. So we just had an update last night, so this should be fairly short, but this is about the reaction to the day, right? And so let's just talk about where we stand right now. So we had the candle open, and as always, take a look at the links in the description. You can see a link to the previous video about gold. In this case, it was just last night. I did sort of a pre-FOMC, like how was the setup look? If you haven't seen that video, you should definitely take a look. It's good kind of continuity, or this will be the continuity, I suppose. And then there's also Cycles 101. I'm assuming you already understand. You've already seen that content. Ton of content. There's a video. There's a write-up. Sort of pick your fancy. So in terms of a cycle perspective, we talked about this yesterday. We had what looked like a daily cycle low on day 30, which was September 1st. So we got a swing low, but it was feeble. And we just kind of crawled up. I think this was like a 4% move up. Pretty dreadful. Day 7, and then we spilled over. But then we made this low here, and then we started to consolidate. So we have this low. It's not a swing low yet because we need to go above this high. We need to trade above 1680 for it to be a swing low again. But we then consolidated for 1, 2, 3, and now this is the 4th day of consolidation. We really need to break below. I mean, it's pretty obvious on this chart here, right? Like the 1654 level. This is the gold CFDs, not the futures. There's quite a bit of difference in terms of price between those, but it's the same exact pattern, the same direction. So let's see if we get there. I'll actually set an alert to just kind of let myself know. And so totally possible this is going to be another like undercut low. Also, if it plays out, it's a false breakdown. We'll see. But if we think about the cycle count, there's two ways to think about this, and I talked about this for the S&P as well. We either did get a daily cycle low on September 1st, and then we got a top on day 7. So that would make today day 15. You could think about it as maybe the more bearish count. That is what I'm leaning towards, because in the same way that this was a bear flag, this is setting up to be a bear flag, and it looks like we're trying to break it down right here today, right? And this is going to end up being the Thursday candle because we just kind of opened overnight. The other interpretation is that this isn't a daily cycle low and we're going to get a bounce at some point. In that scenario, this is day 45. So if this isn't your day 30 daily cycle low, at this point, you need to see some kind of rebound soon, or that scenario is out the window. Honestly, that's more of a hopium scenario for folks that want to try to hope that there's going to be a bounce here. Maybe there will. If there is, that's great. We'll watch the reaction for it. Maybe even a chance to make money. But, because the previous daily cycle did end on day 47, so it's not crazy idea that this is day 45, but all the same, we are in a downtrend. And I talked about this yesterday, so I won't belabor the point. This is your low, lower high, lower low, lower high. This is a lower low compared to this one, so we would expect, this may be our lower high, right? A very, very feeble lower high, couldn't even get to the 10-period moving average. And now we expect a lower low, and then again, a lower high, and then again, a lower low. Obviously, at some point, we'll get a little uptrend on the daily chart at the very least when we get another sort of daily cycle low. And if you look at the weekly chart, I mean, look at this chart. Like, if you understand how to read it, and I know you people look at this and say, oh, it's a big bull flag. Well, it's been bull flagging for 2 years, right? The high was in August 2020. That's not a pleasant experience. And then we made a double top where we missed, making, like we didn't even get back to this level. We missed it by $5. And so it's week 9. So again, thinking about those interpretations, right? This could be bad news bears. The bearish interpretation, right, is that we had a weekly cycle high on week 3. And if we get, let's say, a 20-week cycle, that would mean we don't get our low until December. Now, it doesn't mean we go down in a straight line. Again, and I talked about this extensively yesterday's video. This is a pretty dramatic drop. So at some point we're going to get our bounce, which is why it's possible that we actually are going to get a daily cycle low soon. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bullish. That could have an early high as well. But right now, in this moment, until we get a bearish, I should say, unless and until we get a bullish reversal, we are going low. Like, we are heading lower. Like, literally, this is your monthly chart. You can see we're beneath all the lows from from basically this whole consolidation period from the last 2 years. That's telling you something. At some point, that's going to stop, of course. But the question is when. And the other question is, where are we in the 8-year cycle low? As I continue to repeat, it would appear we are declining into the 8-year cycle low now. There's this notion that, well, no, we're gonna make an all-time high and then we're gonna decline. Well, I mean, good luck with that. Look at this decline into the 8-year cycle low. How long that lasted? This was your shortest one ever at 7 months, right? This was your most bullish gold cycle ever. We had that 7-month decline. This one had a decline that started on month 35. This one had a decline that started on month 34. I mean, that doesn't mean every cycle has to be that way. The decline started on month 41. So would it be crazy that we got our top on month 56? Not really. That would actually be one of the more right translated weekly 8-year cycles, right? Because again, we've had ones that topped out on month 35, 34, 41. This really bullish one topped out on month 85. But even the one right before this one topped out on month 35. This is important perspective. Like, the probabilities suggest we are declining into the 8-year cycle low as we speak. And I'll flip over to silver now. This is the monthly chart. We're still entertaining the idea that this could be a bullish outside monthly candle. We'll have to see what that means for gold if we do get there. But we'll go back to the daily. We talked about this, and at this point, I mean, look at this consolidation. My God, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days of basically just stacked next to each other. This thing is going to explode at some point. Doesn't mean it has to be to the upside, but at some point it's going to release this energy. We're obviously very red today, just like gold. And in this case, and this is the other one that's really important, silver is showing you that it clearly made a daily cycle low on day 35. We so far have a top on day 7, and it's currently day 15. So silver's daily cycle is not ambiguous at all. It's actually very clear. And it's bull flagging. You can see these lines very clear. These lines are not arbitrary. They're literally the range of this huge bullish candle on September 12th. That's what started this whole thing. So we're now just kind of bull flagging off of this candle. And you can see we had a test of support, you could call it. We even washed below it and then rallied back up. And here we tried to rally to the upper end of the range, did not make it, failed, pulled back. This was your FOMC sort of shenanigans. So silver is definitely the one to watch. And on the weekly level, silver is suggesting it's week 3 of a new weekly cycle. It is an inside week, so not a whole lot happening. We'd need to break below 1880, which is the same level of that larger candle. Again, I explained this in the video last night, how that daily candle now basically comprises the whole weekly candle. And finally, GDX, we can see day 13 of the daily cycle. So I suspect we're probably still in the declining phase of the daily cycle, which is weird because this was tracking with silver at one point. Now it seems to have decoupled a bit to the downside. And this was a bearish outside monthly. Oh, excuse me. This is your daily chart. This is a bearish outside daily candle that we had today because of the FOMC shenanigans. Suggest lower prices ahead, especially as gold is selling off. And on the weekly, we are still green for the week. We opened at 23.62 with gold falling out of bed. Pretty safe. It's a good bet that we're probably going to break that number and turn the week red. And then, it would seem like we're going to seek out new lows. We'll have to see if that actually plays out. And on the monthly level, same deal. 23.35 is your open for the monthly. It is green now. Expect that won't persist, especially if gold continues to see that weakness. So that's the lay of the land with the three, silver, gold, and the miners. And we'll quickly look at Dixie. And we just opened about an hour ago. Dixie opens at 8 o'clock. And so we're making another new high on the daily chart. So this appears to be your daily cycle low on day 23. We consolidated for a few days, and then we got the big breakout with the FOMC announcement. So that's day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we could still get a left translated daily cycle if you're If you're bearish, if you need to be bearish the dollar, whether for some ideological reason or something else, you can still hold on to hope that it's going to roll over in this daily cycle. That's possible. But right now, we're making another new high on the daily chart. And on the weekly chart, I talked about this yesterday, that gives us a new high, so 14, 15, 16. So that's your other saving grace. We're getting late in the weekly cycle. So at some point, we're going to get an ICH, a weekly cycle top, and then we're going to kind of roll over. And on the monthly level, what only thing that really matters is that 3-year cycle. We're on month 20, making new multi-year highs. Look at how bullish this monthly candle looks. If it's a 3-year cycle, that's approximately 36 months. You can see where some of the other ones topped out. And so we could easily run another 5, 6, even 7 months, and then still have an 8-month decline into the 3-year cycle. That's important to be aware of. This thing can keep running. I suspect it's going to run to 120. Doesn't mean we're going to get there in a straight line. And we're definitely not going to get there in this weekly cycle is my guess. We're probably going to get a pullback. That's important to understand. That'll actually probably be some respite for precious metals though.